My name is Spiros Hatzivasiliadis. I'm a professor here at ETU, part of the summer school for several years now, and I hope that this year is inspiring for you and already had some nice talk that you enjoyed listening to. So this afternoon we start with one of the two best posters, and that's the work by Margarida Mascarenhas, who is going to talk to us about transparency in the ENTSO-E transparency platform. Margarida has a joint degree from KATH and Q11, and she's now in the second year of her PhD at Q11. So we're looking forward to your talk, Margarida.
Thank you everyone for the opportunity to present my work. So this work started as a bit of a side quest of my PhD. So I was doing, they had electricity price forecasting, and I was having some trouble with the ENTSO-E transparency platform data. I think many of you also experienced that. So then I started looking a little bit more into their data and what was going on behind the curtain. So yeah, I'm in my second year of my PhD with Professor Hussein Kazmi. This work is called Bringing More Transparency to ENTSO-E Transparency Platform, Data and Forecasts. So first I'll start with a small introduction, then a little bit more details into what is the transparency platform, and what are some of the problems that we see in this platform, and then also what can we do about it, more particularly what did we do about it. Then I'll show you quickly the dashboard that we developed and finish with some conclusions. So we know that TSOs forecast a load and a renewable generation to be able to contract sufficient generation and reserve capacity to balance demand and supply. And then third parties such as generators and aggregators use these forecasts for their own decision making with the goal of optimizing their trading strategies. So inaccurate forecasts can lead to higher balancing costs, so higher societal costs and market costs for everyone. And of course, with the increased cross-border flows, there's also a need for more centralized data sharing. So ENTSO-E Transparency Platform was created in 2015 as a response to a EU regulation, sometimes called the Transparency Regulation, because the goal here is to increase the transparency of electricity markets. And the goal is to be a central point for collection, aggregation, and publication of electricity market data across Europe. And then everyone can use their data, more particular generator, retailers, and traders, with the goal of balancing the playing field between large and small actors, so we can reduce inside trading. Of course, not only these parties use this data. I think a lot of people in this room also use the data from the platform. However, there are several problems. We saw that I will show you that there is some missing data problems. Also, nonsense values. We call nonsense values. For example, if you say that you have some solar production above the installed capacity, or some negative values, which don't make sense. Incompatible data sources. I didn't personally look into this, but there was a previous study published in 2018 where they showed also that when comparing the data of this platform with other sources, there was a mismatch. And we also see that there are some missed opportunities. So, for example, Elia, the Belgian TSO, publishes, for example, the solar forecasts at the most recent one, they call it, that they continually update, one at 11 a.m., one at 6 p.m., and they also publish the quantile, so the P10 and P90. That would be very useful information for a lot of people, so this is what we consider missed opportunities. There is some missing documentation. For example, frequency of updates. Sometimes ENTSO-E Transparency Platform goes to older data, updates it, and then we don't know why did your forecast fail? Because you thought there was some missing data, but after all is there. So some mismatch here. And also, there is no information on the data quality that they publish. And that's where we came in and decided to make a study around this. So we started by collecting data for 4 bidding zones. So Belgium France, Netherlands, and Germany, Luxembourg. We collected the data of 2024 for load, solar, wind onshore, wind offshore, and their forecasts. And then the goal is to analyze the data quality, something we call zonal statistics, and the forecast accuracy. So starting with the data quality, we are going to first look at completeness. So yeah, what is the percentage of missing data for each field? Then the plausibility. So as I explained before, if there are some nonsense values in the data, and then also consistency. So for example, if there's if it's an hourly data set and there's a whole day with which the time series has the same value, we flag it because probably something is wrong there. Then we also look at the mean absolute error of the net load, so the load minus the wind and solar production, and we visualize it in a map so to be able to compare between the different bidding zones, and then also the forecast accuracy. For this we use 4 metrics, so the mean absolute error, so yeah, easy enough. Then the root mean squared error, just yeah, giving a little bit more weight to bigger errors. And then, because we are also comparing several bidding zones, it's interesting to use relative metrics also. So use the relative mean absolute error that is basically normalized by the mean absolute error of a persistence model. And the persistence model here is just, in case of the renewable generation, we consider that the forecast is the same as the day before. In case of the load, we consider is the same of the week before due to their seasonality. Then for the normalized mean absolute error, we normalize the error by the installed capacity in case of the renewables, and for the case of the load by the average load of 2024. So starting with the results, we can see here the missing data of these fields. If the field is not here, it's because there was no missing data for that variable. So we see that the most concerning one for these bidding zones is the winds offshore in Belgium. Around 10.8% of the values were missing. This is just a plot to illustrate that, yeah, it's across all year, not just some specific dates. We see the missing data everywhere, and then for the remaining variables, it's some values here and there. For some applications it can be problematic, others you can, I guess, interpolate or something like this, and it's not so damaging, I would say. Then for the plausibility, for these 4 bidding zones, the only thing that we found was in the case of the Netherlands, the wind offshore. You see that around 1.2% of the values were above the installed capacity. So here we don't know which value is wrong, if it's the time series or the value of the installed capacity. Of course, you can easily find the actual value of the installed capacity, but the point here is just to show that indeed they are not matching. Regarding the consistency, so we found two examples of this. For example, for France, in the wind offshore forecast, there was 5 days that the value was always 240 megawatts. And if you would look for the actual values, they had an expected distribution, so probably wrong here. And then the same with the wind onshore and offshore in the Netherlands. During 2 days, it was always 0. In December, also probably not correct. So we also flagged those. And then here we can see the zonal statistics, so the mean absolute error of the net load. And yeah, here, so these variations can reflect, for example, the system, the system size, the load variability, or the generation mix. But you can see if also the TSOs tend to err in a similar manner. So here, for example, we see that for the Netherlands is way higher than you would expect for a country this size. Regarding the forecast accuracy, this is the mean absolute error on the left and the root mean square error on the right. And yeah, once again, you would expect the error to grow with the not size, but installed capacity and load. And is indeed true for Belgium. Then we have Germany, Luxembourg. Then we have France, then Germany, Luxembourg, but then we have the Netherlands, which is, yeah, once again, way higher than you would expect. The same for the root mean square error. If we look at the relative metrics, then they make a little bit more sense. So except for the Netherlands, the forecasts have more or less the same magnitude of error. with France maybe struggling a bit more to forecast solar, but not too significant. And in the case of the Netherlands, is really poor forecasts. In case of the solar, I didn't even plot it because it was so big, the error, it would go outside of the graph. But someone told me, yeah, you, that yesterday when I was doing the poster presentation, that in the platform, they are actually, the actuals of the solar and the forecast of the solar are measuring different things. And I did not know this. They also don't put it in the platform, so it's another thing that should be documented, I guess. But also, besides the solar, the rest of the forecasts are not very good. Then we have the forecast accuracy along the months of 2024. This was just to see if we could find some type of seasonality here. We can see, yeah, that some countries struggle more to forecast certain variables. It's also important to say that the scale is different in each bidding zone, which is not the nicest, so I should probably change that. But yeah, you can see that, for example, for the Netherlands, something also weird happens around September, August actually, that you have an error in the case of the wind onshore of around 1 point something, and then out of nowhere it goes to 4 point something. We also don't know what happens here, something that also should be documented. So what we did, this was the analysis for 4 bidding zones. And because a lot of people actually use this data, we decided to create a dashboard where we do the analysis of all the bidding zones. Actually, not all. Now it's just around 10 bidding zones. I think I need to update it with the remaining bidding zones. And what we do here is basically each hour, we have a cron job in the university server. Each hour we update the data sets. And yeah, and then we publish the results in Streamlit, in Hugging Face. And basically what we are doing is just updating the data from 1 day before. So if the ENTSO-E goes to the data and updates older values, we don't catch this. And this is, yeah, on purpose, because for operational forecasts, that's, yeah, not enough, I guess. So yeah, I would like to, I think maybe I can I? No, I cannot share another screen. So yeah, I guess you can have a look for yourself to the platform, and I think that, yeah, it's also better in the computer than on the phone. So I guess to conclude, I also wanted to say that, yeah, a lot of these mistakes are not ENTSO-E transparency platform fault. Is, for example, the forecast accuracy is data given by the TSOs, so it's not like they can do anything about it. Regarding the data quality, we don't know if it's something about the communication between the TSOs and the platform, if it's from one of the sites. So the goal here is just to, yeah, increase the transparency, the data quality, and hopefully this will lead to, yeah, better forecasts and matching the demand and supply more accurately. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Thank you very much, Margarita. Questions? Yeah, Paul.
Just a quick question. What did the day that Spain had the complete outage look like on the platform? Could you see it?
I didn't check it, but I should have checked it. I cannot check it because the values here, now I'm looking at the platform. If I put Spain, I think I only have the plots of the previous week. So now I don't catch it anymore. But I guess there was missing data, perhaps, I'm assuming.
Could be. And does it also monitor frequency?
No.
Because it looked, in the data I looked at, it looked like there was a frequency deviation,
yeah,
right for 10 minutes before the blackout started.
Because I don't think that ENTSO-E transparency platform publishes frequency, and for now we are not analyzing, but it would be indeed very interesting to look at.
Yeah.
And then perhaps, yeah, finding correlations with frequency deviations and missing data.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? So maybe 1 or 2 questions from me. So about I mean, you mentioned quite a number of times Netherlands.
Yeah.
So have you reached out to them or to Tenet and
No.
asked them? Yeah, maybe there is a reason. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, not yet. I think we sometimes are in communication with Elia because he's from Belgium. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to reach out to other TSOs. We didn't do it yet. Yeah, and find out what's behind it. Perhaps start documenting it even.
Good. And then I had a question about the if you go, so about the implementation actually, because I don't know what Hugging Face is. So it seems that you push it to GitHub and then you pull it. Why do you?
Yeah,
so what does
because-
Hugging Face do?
So Hugging Face is just like a website, a dashboard where you can put models, websites. Yeah, it's open source, free, so you can just use it to put your dashboard. So basically, then you just code the dashboard, and you need somewhere to store the data. And you cannot.
And then Streamlit is for visualization or for okay.
Streamlit is just a library to code the dashboard. And we use Hugging Face as a free data storage, I guess, because I think it's easy to just use their APIs. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. Any other? Yeah. That's a
Doesn't it cause any licensing issues since you're getting the data from ENTSO-E and then also showing it then on
Showing
the
it in
dashboards or
no, I hope not.
Well, first of all, congratulations for the work. I think it's very interesting
Thank you.
for all of us that in a way or another work with this platform and the data coming from this platform. And we're all aware that it has some limitations. But I haven't seen, and we were discussing this before, I haven't seen many publications around this topic. We can call it limitations, shortcomings, etc., of this platform. And I think it's very relevant that there are people conducting research on this. So congratulations, and my question is, I understand this is kind of a side project of your actual PhD research, but are you considering expanding this into other areas? I think we discussed like, I don't know, install capacity or any other of the parameters that ENTSO-E reports.
Yeah. So the install capacity, we actually have a look at it, not directly, but so we compare the published data to the install capacity that the ENTSO-E publishes. So we know if there's any mismatch between the two. We don't necessarily know which one is wrong. And now I honestly won't continue too much into this direction because it was indeed just a side quest. There's nothing too fancy about it. It's data analysis. But yeah, my promoter does, like this work, and we already have another student starting like to take over, so I think this will continue, and probably they will expand it to other variables and so on. So I think it won't die here. Let's see where it goes, I think.
Great. Any more questions? Okay. Then it's a time for the certificate
Thank you.
and the award. So I know that. So congratulations, Maria.
Thank you.
For Margarita. Yeah.
Thank you.
All the best. Yeah.